When the doctors give me out. When the doctor done fix all they can fix. I have to call in my landlord. And I done done all I can do. Out of all I done, nothing hadn't been done. I have to call in the landlord. Can he fix it? Won't he fix it? The Bible said there was a woman had an issue of blood. And she had spent all of her money. But the Bible says she didn't get better, she was getting worse. But she had to call in the landlord. And just one touch, but him always gone. Heal the body. We better let that down. Just one touch will heal it. We thank the Lord for his son Jesus. I thank him for the ministry of the gospel. We thank him for Bishop. He thought it wasn't robbery to come by. It's another brother, my preacher here. He come this. He heard about what was going on, so he come to see what was going on. But it's good to know for yourself. It ain't time to play now. It's time to be real with the Lord. First, you got to be real with yourself. We thank God for everything. I thank God for what he did for me today. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking about today, what the Lord did. I'm talking about now what the Lord did for me today. Thank you. We thank him for the officers of this church, to the members and to our friends, and to each of you that come to worship the Lord in spirit and in truth. That's right. It kind of is a blessing that we all are here. Because it just could have been the other way. The message that the Lord gave me, I was riding home in my truck. And the message came. I said, that? But that wouldn't leave me. Well, the wife said that wouldn't leave me. So I know when that wouldn't leave me, it was that. You know, it's good when the Lord gives you a message that you can't see nothing in it. That's when you allow faith to take over. Amen. I want you to turn to the book of Matthew, 28th chapter, in the 18th verse. You find the words of our text. Now this was given to me on my way home. Amen. Amen. Matthew 28:18 tells us, and Jesus came and spake unto them, said, all power is given unto me, in heaven and earth. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Teach them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. And he made a comment on that, say, amen. That means this is it. I want to talk about today a promise which cannot be broken. A promise which cannot be broken. Amen? We're going to talk about some promises. Now this might not be what you all want to hear, but the gospel is not what you want to hear all the time. We hear gospel all the time, but the gospel is a little different. I say a promise which cannot be broken. We know something, each of us here knows something about some promises, don't we? But let's think about when we're making a promise, are we willing to go through with the promise? I know y'all gonna get quiet on me, but that's okay. My brothers and sisters, I don't know about nobody else. I came from the old school. I believe Mother Jackson can tell you that too, because we came out the woods. We can know anything. We came out the woods. Back, Brother Dodge came too. My mama can tell us, you know, back there, you know, when they had a mustard seeds. And before you were saved, you asked God, you promised God, didn't you? Huh? Lord, if you convert my soul, I would serve you until I die. Huh? Did anybody promise that other than me? Huh? But how many of us broke our promise? Y'all don't get quiet on me. You know, I broke my promise. And you know that you broke your promise. But our landlords came in, didn't they? And restored us back in the family. That's why David said, he restores my soul. When you see, God has a way to bring us back. Can I get a witness? So now, as a promise, when you're making one, you should think about what you're saying. Is that right? Back there, I used to hear my dad said that when people would do business, they would promise and they would close it with a handshake. And if any time that they couldn't come up to what their promise, they would go to that person before then and let them know I'm not going to be able to go through. Amen. What that means, brother preacher, that they are still keeping their promise. Because one thing about if your word ain't no good, it means that you ain't no good. Is that right? I said, if your word ain't no good, it means that you ain't no good. Amen. Can I get a witness? Amen. So they would go before the time expired and let them know that I can't come up. Now, many times when I was even in the heavy construction, when my money wasn't coming up, it was looking funny. And I know I promised to pay those people at the end of the month, but the money was looking funny. But you know, when I didn't go, I just get on the telephone and say, look, I won't be able to be on there on the 10th, but I catch you in a few days. No problem, Haynes. If you keep your promise, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Today I can call anywhere in town and say I need such and such thing on such and such a job. It's going to be there. Because they know that I kept my promise. And God looking for us now to keep our promise. Is that right? Well, when we look at the church, we made promises that that we'll be willing to be ruled and governed by the rules and the regulation of this church. Is that right? That's a promise we made. But how many times we broke our promise? Huh? Amen. Amen. But you see, we got to remember one thing, that the record is kept. You see, God has a record